Good morning and welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, welcome back. I figured I'd do an update here. I've just kind of been sitting back, watching, listening, and looking at everything that's going on, not just with Bitcoin and crypto, but also with the stock market. I've kind of been at a loss for words, to be honest with you, and I hope that this is a fake out. And I hope this is not the beginning of a new market cycle. I would prefer that happen 3, 4, 6, 7, 12 months from now. But we'll see how this plays out. Again, my opinion on this doesn't really matter, and neither does anybody else's opinion. The most important thing is a strategy and a plan. And to that point, I shared something in my community tab last night. And honestly, I was shocked by this, even though I said like 5 or 6 weeks ago that Max Payne was up, and now a lot of people are starting to say that over the last week or two. Plan B, Raoul Paul were saying that earlier, and I've seen other analysts on Twitter say the same thing. So the majority of retail is out of the market, and you might be one of those people. So I just want to compare two different approaches. So for me, I'm just betting on the long-term success of companies that are working with the most powerful organizations in the world. Not just working with, their technology is actively being implemented. And so I view that as a high probability bet. Maybe not with all of them. That's why I have a lot of different positions. And that's why I built out a lot of core positions. Because if one or two doesn't work out, it doesn't really affect me that much. It doesn't really affect me at all in all reality. As long as the other ones work out. And so I call it a high probability bet because I'm betting on the long-term success of those companies, and I just dollar cost average and hold. And as long as they continue to implement the new system, again, I put the probability of success with the bet that I'm making at the same probability that I put that they continue to implement the new system, which, I mean, they're telling you they're doing it, and there's no evidence that they're going to stop. There's mountains of evidence that they're going to continue, and there's no evidence that they're going to stop. Nothing is ever a sure thing. This is not financial advice. I'm just giving you my opinion on what's going on. And so I view that as a very, very high probability bet. And I mentioned this in my video 6-8 months ago, confidence in decision making. I have no confidence in my ability to time markets, and I have the most confidence I could possibly have that this is the new system and that they're going to continue to implement it, and that many of the companies I'm invested in are a part of the new system. So I have tons of confidence in that, no confidence in my ability to predict markets. So I have to have a plan and a strategy that aligns with where my confidence lies, and that is in their long-term success. Now compare that to, let's just say I were to take the same amount of capital that I have in the positions that I have positions in, and I were to bet all of that on which way I thought the market was going to go. So let's just say that I thought market was going to go down from here. And so I were to pull all my capital and I were to essentially short the market and say, I think prices are going down. So my bet is not on their long-term success. My bet is on where the market's going in the next 6 months. That's a much lower probability bet for me. You might have 99% confidence with making that bet. But over the majority of retail has made that bet. They're betting on their ability to predict where the market's going to go in the next 3 to 6 months. Despite the majority of bottom indicators being in. And there's some nuance here because there's not a set list of Bitcoin bottom indicators. There's many indicators that a lot of analysts use, and a lot of them overlap analyst to analyst. But I think it's a fair point, and if you disagree with this, that's fine. Just let me know in the comment section below. Let me know which bottom metrics are not in, and if that makes up the majority. But I'm not saying that all the bottom metrics are in, and even if they were, that doesn't mean that something out of the ordinary can't happen. I know we just broke down below the previous Bitcoin's previous all-time high for the first time. And we're really in uncharted territory right now. But I think it's a fair statement to say that the majority of the Bitcoin bottom indicators are in, despite over half of retail being out. Not just that they're in. CZ from Binance, the largest exchange in the world, said bottom's in. SBF from FTX also, the worst is over. And numerous other people as well. Tom Lee, who accurately predicted the bottom in the first week of April 2020. And there's been some mischaracterizations of his position floating around. What his position was that once we enter a bear market, any rally that gets up to 50% recovered losses for the S&P. So once the S&P reaches bear market territory, once it recovers 50% of its losses, it's never gone back to hit new lows. It goes to hit new all-time highs. If you have examples of where this hasn't happened, let me know. I think that's accurate. I think what people are doing is people are finding 50% recovered rallies before we enter a bear market, and they're using that to negate the position. So if there's examples that that's happened where we've entered a bear market, a rally has recovered 50% of its gains that it lost from its all-time high, and that rally did not continue. If you have examples of that, please let me know in the comment section below. So Tom Lee, Mark Yusko, Anthony Scaramucci, his firm is official partners with the WEF, said the bottom is in. Fair value price for Bitcoin is 40K. JP Morgan came out and said that, which again, JP Morgan said that the fair value price of Bitcoin was 38K when it was 30K before it dropped to 17. So take everything with a grain of salt. I don't think that anything any one person or institution says means that that's black and white. But I think Sam Bankman-Fried and CZ from Binance coming out and saying what they did, I think those are significant. So on top of that, whales have been accumulating for 4 months. We can see this on chain. 10K plus addresses, I just shared this the other day, have been going up for 4 or 5 months. And they had been flat for the previous part of the year or the previous 12 months. So for the first time in quite some time, we're seeing whale accumulation happening. So whales are accumulating while retail is getting short. And not only that, 0.01 addresses are growing, 0.1 addresses are growing, and 1+ Bitcoin addresses are growing. So do whatever you want to do. All I'm saying is that for me personally, maybe not for you. Again, you might have a much higher degree of confidence in your ability to call tops and bottoms and the way the market's going to move. But that's what the people are betting on. They're betting on their ability to predict which way the market's going to move. I'm betting on the long-term success of those companies. Those are drastically different universes. And people who are in those different universes, there's not much sense in them talking back and forth about strategy or what's going to happen, because they're playing two different games, drastically different games. And so over half of retail, the majority of retail is out of the market. What percent of content creators do you think are out of the market? I would say 95+% are holding some type of Bitcoin or crypto. I feel pretty confident saying that, at least the notable content creators. And which is confusing as to why there would be such a high percentage of retail out of the market. Guys, I only started this channel to wedge myself in between the content creators who are lying to people and retail investors. It's the only reason I started this channel. I make no money on this channel. I have no ad revenue. I take no donations. I've done no sponsored videos, nothing. I actually lose money doing this. I sell tech and insurance. The more that I'm out there getting new business, the more money that I make. I mean, I have a salary and everything, but I have commissions on top of that. And the more money I spend the more time I spend dedicated to doing that, the more money that I make. So I have little to no financial incentives on here. And I warned about many of these content creators not telling the truth about what was going on here for months and months and months. It's really the only reason I got on here. I knew what was going on. I was listening to these content creators. I said they're not telling their viewers, they're leading their viewers in the opposite direction. And so I started my YouTube channel. And it's just, it's unfortunate to see what's going on right now. And I hope that this is a fake out. This will be, and many people are saying this now. One of you mentioned this in my community tab last night. And many people are saying this on Twitter now, that this is going to be the most hated rally of all time. And if it continues, I 100% agree. And if it continues, the likelihood of alts going up is very high. And if you look, the altcoin market cap went to its previous all-time high and bounced. I mean, even if you're looking at this technically, there's more technical things, in my personal opinion, that indicate the next, that we should continue going up. Doesn't mean that we will, but from a technical level, I'm not saying that you could always find things from a technical level that you can make a case for why things could go down, but it's a comprehensive look at everything. And if you look at everything, I think from a technical level, there's a stronger case that we would go up than go down. And what's happening with stocks right now, in my opinion, is more bullish than what's happening in Bitcoin and crypto. I mean, stocks have exploded since their local bottoms. And people say, guys, if you don't take away anything else I ever say on this channel, please take this away. Please stop using logical fallacies as fact and evidence, right? The Fed's not pivoting. The Fed's going to continue to raise rates. Like all these bulls talking about the Fed's going to pivot. Okay, let's just say they continue to raise rates. What happened the last time the Fed raised rates? Markets exploded. The very next day, it came out that we had 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth, and markets exploded again. So, and then they changed the definition of recession and just denied that we were in recession. And then they passed they're passing an Inflation Reduction Act that involves spending hundreds of billions of dollars. This is not an environment where, we're off the reservation, guys. They can do anything that they want to do, like change the definition of recession in real time, on the fly. And, all right, so if you are short on the market, I assume you're probably not still watching this video if you are, but, just look at, and you might turn out to be right. I hope for my sake and for your sake that you do turn out to be right here. But do you have a plan in place in case your thesis is invalidated? Do you have certain ranges where you'll say, okay, my original thesis is invalidated? Because in all reality, it could go up to 30, 32K, and then they drop the hammer and slam it back down to 14 or 15. Who knows? They hold all the cards. They're sitting on the worst catalysts imaginable, and they're sitting on some of the best catalysts imaginable. So I just don't understand the incentive to make that bet. Make the bet on, I'm betting on which way the market's going to go, when there is a much, much, much higher probability bet with just betting on the long-term success of the companies. And I boil this all back down to the content creators. They don't have to come out and tell people to sell. They don't have to come out and say, you need to get out of the market. I'm selling, you need to sell. They don't have to say that. All they have to do is just push mass fear. Right? Leading the time to sell, question mark, question mark. Market collapse. Is this it for crypto? Brutal bear market. That's all I have to do. And just continually push out that propaganda day after day after day. Think about what the attitude and the atmosphere is like now in crypto and what it was like 45 days ago. I'm kind of at a loss for words. If that was the bottom, if that was, and I've had many people in the last 4 or 5 months coming at me with this and that and the other, and I'll just go back to what I was saying beforehand. Guys, I was telling you the truth about all this. And that doesn't mean that market's going to go up now. But anybody that was pushing fear and was not telling the truth about this big picture, I did a video solely to warn about that. So, for bears' sake, I hope they get the pullback that they're looking for so they can reposition, so I can accumulate more, and so that the majority of people come out of this, on the right side. There's no way, unless the new system fails, that I'm going to come out of this on the wrong side, which was why I chose the strategy that I did. And I think why many of you chose the strategy that you did. But these content creators are going to put a lot of people in a really bad position. Even if the market goes back lower, so what? I don't care. And so sure, some of you probably would, but I don't care. It's a number on a screen going down for a period of time. And since I buy every week, I have a vested interest in prices being lower until they're ready to move. I don't care about the 2x, the 3x, the 4x moves. That does not matter to me at all. I care nothing about those moves. I will watch a position I have go 3x and then come right back down and not care at all. I should have took profit. I don't give a shit about all that. I care about being all in when the big thing happens, when the big run happens. That's all I care about. So that's it. That's what I'm positioning myself for, and I will wait until it happens. And I do think it will happen at a time where the least amount of retail is in the market as they can possibly get. Or the most retail is out of the market as they can possibly get. Now, if that's not now, then it's not now. But I would be willing to say that if this is not it, whenever it does happen, it will look very similar to what it looks like right now. A very large percentage of retail out of the market, most people not believing that the move is real, and that's that. That's how I see it playing out. I don't think that, all of retail is going to be in the market, fully positioned, ready to go when this big move happens and when we continue to move higher. I just don't see it playing out like that. Because the entire space is built on lies. The entire space is designed to deceive you, to make you think that this is something else, to make you think that this is some type of speculative tech play that may or may not work out by 2030. Everything is designed to make you think that this is less significant than what it is. People are looking at the macro scene, recession, inflation. And guys, go back to the video that I did. Why do you think the economy is collapsing? They are abandoning the old system of money and accounting and adopting a new one. They're moving us from the old system to the new system. People who were already in the new system went back to the old system that they're destroying. They've told you this. But yet all those content creators never mention that. And not just that, they don't mention all of it. Because they're trying to deceive you, or they're just stupid. And guys, if it's not now, this same situation is going to play out in 6 months or a year and a half. This exact same situation. Tons of content creators pushing mass fear, getting tons and tons and tons of people out of the market, and then the market takes off. That's how it's probably going to play out. That's how it's looking like it's playing out right now. But even if this is a fake out, the same thing's going to happen. At some point in the future, they'll push everybody in retail out that they can get out, and then they're going to move it higher. Look at 45 days ago, everybody was saying it was all over. Now we have the biggest announcement that's ever happened in the Bitcoin and crypto space with BlackRock. It's just frustrating. Hope everybody's doing well. Sorry, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. And that's really why I haven't done any videos over the last week or so. I've just kind of been at a loss for words. I hope this thing turns around today. I want to see this thing roll over today. I get paid in a couple days. There's nothing that would make me happier. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. That's all I have for this video. Thank you everyone who has liked, shared, and subscribed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Take care. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next video.